Hi, good morning. Welcome to Cosmic Compass Conversation. For some of you, it's definitely evening, so thank you for spending your evening here. And yes, we're here to talk about why is it so intense? I must hear this 3 times a day. And I am clear that it is intense. So my job today, as I see it, is to share just enough of the astrology so that it makes sense. And also to give you ideas of how we might move with the intensity. So some of you joined me at the end of last year, and we did a program called Flow with the Changes. I don't know if y'all remember that now, but remember we were talking about flowing with the changes and we had movement. Remember that movement? So, well, movement is a big part of moving, obviously, through what is happening right now. Yeah. So I guess we'll get started. We'll do our breathing and then I'm going to actually pull cards and then we'll get into the astrology. So that's how I've got my plan. So if you'd like to join me in the breathing, you're welcome to. If it's not possible, don't worry about it. Just bring your awareness inward. But I do like to close my eyes. Um, mm, Feel the air around. So this sensory, just really getting the sense of where you are, feeling the points of contact, whether that's with your feet, and maybe if like I'm repositioning my feet to get them flat on the floor, and just breathing in and expanding the belly. And really expand that belly. And exhaling whenever you're ready. Feeling your feet on the floor as you breathe in, expand the belly. And on your exhale, if it's comfortable, relaxing your jaw, your shoulders, dropping them down. As you continue the exhale, if you'd like to, I like to bring in a little movement, so a little pelvic rocking and relaxing the hips. And then again, feeling your feet on the ground and breathing in. And exhaling. If it feels good, soften the jaw, relax the shoulders, bringing in that pelvic rocking as you exhale. Thanking your body for being here and feeling the earth beneath us, thanking the land where you are and all those who have come before. And breathing in one more time that gratitude for being here where you are on this planet right now at this time. Expanding the belly, maybe expanding a little more if you can. And exhaling and really just taking a moment to, again, bring that gratitude throughout your whole body. Gratitude for life, gratitude for support from the earth, wherever you have that gratitude and appreciation, feeling that in your body. And we'll do this one more time just because we've had a couple people coming into the space. So we're going to breathe in from the feet, honoring all those who have come before. So feeling that support, breathing up through the soles of the feet, breathing in, filling the belly. And if it feels comfortable to you to bring in some gratitude, some appreciation. And again, if it's not the right day for that, that is okay. And then on your exhale, again, I'm just relaxing the jaw, shoulders. And if you feel like adding in just a little pelvic tilt and reminding yourself to thank your hips. And if you're standing or walking, and just thanking your body for all that it's doing. If you're lying down, whatever you're doing, just thank yourself for being here. And then when you're ready, we'll come back into the space and really feel. One thing that we've talked about all year, many of us in the different groups that we're in, is remembering to connect with the support that we do have. And in a lot of the work that I do, connecting with our ancestors, connecting with those on the other side, that has been very, very important this year. So, however you choose to do that, and if it's something you want to learn more about, just let me know. Um, we do have a little group, a smaller group that meets, and we do some meditations in this. I think we meet this week, and we're going to be dropping in, of course. Why would it be dropping into the support with the ancestors? It would make sense. And you don't need to know who your ancestors are, by the way. Some people don't, and that's fine. I don't. I have a big blank, it's a big blank spot where I think but I think I can trace it back to my grandmother's parents, or at least one of her parents, but prior to that, nothing. So, I think sometimes we just get to be with them as they show up, and we don't need to know, although I always love to know myself. Okay, so 3 cards. And again, as I've learned over the years and from a really powerful tarot teacher, in some traditions, when we pull the tarot cards, it's our ancestors wanting to give us messages. So, higher self, ancestors, divine energies, however you want to look at this, we're going to ask for some messages for this week. What will support us? And I always use Chris Ann's cards. I was thinking about this today because I was thinking, oh, should I use a different deck? And I thought, no, I love this deck. This deck, she's done the art so well that it's easy to kind of look at the card. And even if you don't know the tarot, you can really see yourself in the card and then ask yourself, what is happening here? Now, if this card doesn't look slightly familiar right now, I don't know. And I don't mean like we pulled it recently. I mean, I don't know, walking on a tightrope, reading a book, carrying a bunch of light bulbs. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so lots going on in this card, and the best thing to do is just, what is your narrative? How do you see yourself? Which part of this are you? Are you the birds? Are you the woman? Are you the book? Are you the tightrope? Are you all of it? And gosh, I mean, I could just already start on the with this. It's so good. So good. Oh my gosh. So our next card, you're ready for that one, is, hold on just a second.
Hmm.
All right. I'm just keeping everybody muted just because of the recording. And so if you're not muted, if you could mute yourself, that would be super good. Although I guess I could do that. All right. Now you don't have to worry about it. I think we're good. All right. Our next card. So just coming back to the energy, what will support us for the week is a card that we have had before in the past. Look, oh my gosh, the Magician. Okay, so once again, what do you see? What do you notice? How do you feel in your body when you see this card? What parts of the card are really moving you, shifting you, calling to you? Well, I'm really liking this card. We haven't seen this one in a while. And again, I do appreciate the history of the Magician from a tarot perspective. Uh, I think that Chris Ann's artwork really takes us into an excellent interpretation. The history is excellent as well, and combining them, should you desire to do so, I think would be a fun activity of reflection for this week. And you might ask yourself, like, who is the magician? Um, yeah. Okay. And our last card. Oh, I was just reading a column about how people hate pulling this card. Yay. Okay, here we go. Fun, fun, fun. All right. Um, this is the death card, the death and rebirth card. I love how Chris Ann puts it both on there, death and rebirth. I actually think this is one of the most beautiful cards. And yeah, I can definitely feel this energy. Once we get into the astrology, all of this will make even more sense. Um, but again, what is transforming in us? What do we need to let go of to go to the next? I know some of you are like, no, don't say those words, but it's true. It is a transformative card. It's a transformative energy. Okay, but look at how much support and magic there is. Okay, so this, you kind of get the whole story here. This energy, which we'll talk about, this energy, which we'll talk about. We have squirrels joining us outside too. They're watching. They're watching. And this transformative death and rebirth card. Okay. Lots of energy. I'm not surprised. I should not be surprised. I'm not surprised. How could it be? How could I be? Yeah, exactly. All right. So again, I like to just leave the interpretation of that up to you with just a little support there. I mean, it's pretty straightforward this week. I go, feel like I'm walking a tightrope. Oh, I feel like I'm doing 4, 5, 10 things all at once. So this is how I'm going to start. After, I did spend some time just looking at today's chart. And so I wanted to share a little bit about some of that, obviously, because it's really important. But I think in a general way, one of the things I really wanted to share mostly is whenever I put out, oh, that is so funny. All right. See, I'm trying not to get distracted by the chat, but oh, hello, keep putting these things in the chat. That's great. Um, okay, what was I going to say? Right. The general energy of right now. Um, when I send out something and I say, oh my gosh, this is a great time for reflection, or this is a great time to set your intentions, or this is a great time for healing. I have noticed that yes, these are all true. This is a great time for all of that. I'm just going to be honest. There are days when I have my altar in there and I'll pull some cards, put them out, and then take a nap. And that's all I do. Okay. So I'm just going to be honest with you. Some days are just nap days, and that's just all there is to it. Some days are days where, and a nap, for me, a nap is 15 minutes. That's about all I get. But still, why do I do that? Probably wondering, why do I do that? Well, part of it is we are working in so much energy right now. And that's the thing I really wanted to just share with you. Not even astrologically that type of energy, which is all there all the time, but just the energy of our world, the energy of the people that we come in contact with throughout the day, the people we don't see but feel. Um, these squirrels are great. And just having so much going on in the field around us, it might be a lot to expect ourselves to get all the messages. I feel like this card actually speaks to this. We're trying to do all the things. Okay, I'm reading, I've got my ideas, I'm walking on the tightrope. Yes, all of this can happen. And the truth of the matter is, with so many planets retrograde, the way that it's set up is to not push, to not try. If you need to take a 15-minute nap, please take one. I have good scientific backup on that 15-minute nap thing. Um, and there's so many people out there that do this. I I actually know people who have it in their contracts with their companies that they have in their room some sort of chaise lounge where they can take a nap. I am not kidding you. The nap thing is real. Okay. So putting too much pressure on ourselves is not always the plan. Do you know what I'm saying? And I do it too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to know this. I need to figure this out. I'm always saying, oh, the big stuff's coming in February and March and April and May. And it is. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening next year. Yes. If we put so much pressure on ourselves right now, I think we're going to miss the point. The point is to listen. The point is to slow down. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of time to go fast. Don't you worry. It's coming. This is the time to lean into what happens when I close my eyes. As I'm waking up, what do I feel? What do I notice? The liminal spaces, those spaces in between. Neptune really speaks to that, right? Neptune is our planet of the vision. It's also a planet where, things can be obscured. Well, Saturn is helping, and Neptune and Saturn continue their dance. They're still dancing side by side at 1 degree of Aries, and they're doing their little. And the thing is, Saturn's like, I can help you with this. Saturn says to Neptune, I can help you. You have your dreams. I can help you. But we're retrograde right now, so let's just review what we want. Let's review our desires. Let's review what we think we want. And I think, again, this is really helpful during a retrograde. Really review from the place of knowing who you are right now today. I was having this great conversation yesterday, and my friend was saying, yeah, like going through our stuff with if we're unpacking or moving, or even if we just need to go through stuff. Who am I now? Does this apply to me? So whether it's physical, tangible things that we're unpacking out of a box, or it's dreams, goals, ways of being, lifestyle choices. Is this who I really am now? So many times, and maybe I shouldn't speak for everyone, but so many times I think that those choices of goals, particularly, are based on other times of our lives. And we have already shifted. You can read all the headlines and all. I don't actually go on YouTube all too often, but people will send me different things, and also I'll go wandering into the YouTube world of astrology. And there's some good stuff out there. And there's also um, reminders that we need to be who we are, not create from a place of the past, right? We want to be who we are. So when I'm looking at the YouTube, I have to ask myself, is this person someone I want to listen to? Is this aligning with who I am right now? If it's not, then I'm going to tune them out and move on to the next one. I have some really good, reliable astrologers that I work with as mentors. And I love learning, particularly traditional astrology and evolutionary astrology. Sometimes it is time to let go of an old interpretation of something. This is something that I am faced with every single day when I'm doing this work. Is that interpretation right for that person now? Where are we today? So again, lots of energy. Saturn says, I can help you with this. I can provide a container for your dreams. I can provide a structure, a scaffolding, a plan. But right now, as we're dancing backwards, let's just pay attention to where our feet land. Let's just pay attention to how we feel and what our needs are. So I will give you my personal example of how I see this working. So Saturn is about goals. Saturn is about many things: structure, support, the ancestors. I mean, you can go a lot of different places: karma, past lives, all of it. Saturn does require us to learn, and Saturn does have us look at chronological time. Okay, great. Neptune, time doesn't exist for Neptune. Neptune's like, whatever. Let's just create. Let's just go into the other realms. Let's just play here and hear that. Now, Neptune can also be like fog. So I was going to say that for me, having them retrograde right now, moving back to a town where I lived from 98 to 2011, so a long time, right? And coming back, unpacking boxes of things I haven't seen in a really long time is very retrogradish. And what I'm feeling is Saturn and Neptune saying it's good to review who you've been. And it's really important to let go. Pluto jumps in there from off to the side and says, and it's really time to let go of a lot of things, not just things, but things, feelings, ways of perceiving. And boy, it is not anybody who's moved recently or is in the process of moving knows that moving is not just physical, it is everything. It is our lives just going in front of us. If you haven't moved, don't necessarily move right now, but you can move from the inside. And that's where, how I was talking about movement at the beginning, maybe before we were recording, but literally moving your body, moving your body. Go through the day. And this card reminds me, even if you're just taking your arms and you're moving, or like this, moving in these figure eights, super helpful energy. You're moving. I like to do this during the day. Sometimes when I'm talking to you individually, you can't see me, but I'm doing this underneath the camera to move the energy. So we're moving into what is now and letting go of the past, right? Because it's so important. So anyway, I've kind of just the whole moving my space, coming back to where I used to be, feels very much like a retrograde activity. And then updating, who am I now living in this town that I used to live in? And for some of you, you've had this experience before. I've never had this experience before. Usually I have moved and moved and moved and moved, but never come back to a place where I've lived before. So it's a new experience. And it's like, I am not who I was before. And, seeing people for the first time in maybe 15 years, we get to explore who we are now. And is there a friendship there now with the people we are now? So you can do that internally with yourself. Who am I now? How am I being friends with myself right now? How am I allowing myself to update to who I am and what I bring into the world? Okay, so I have the chart all here. And one thing before I get back to the retrogrades, because it's nice to have a little sandwich, right? Not that this isn't fun, but even more fun. So we have Jupiter and Venus conjunct today in Cancer. And it turns out, I think a lot of you already read Pam Young-Hans and her newsletter that comes out on Sundays. If you do, great. If you don't, sign up for it. Pam Young-Hans. I think it's North Point Astrology is her website. She has great newsletters. And one of the things that she talks about this week is the planet Sirius, which is part of the Lionsgate, which actually we're still in that energy, even though there's this random connection between numerology 88 and the Lionsgate. That happened later, obviously. But the Egyptians used this time of year to connect with the fixed star Sirius, Sirius, Sirius. And that star has a couple of different meanings. Many people call it the dog star. I think you probably have heard that. And some call it the jackal, because of course there's light and there's shadow. So the jackal would be more like, like the trickster kind of energy. So today Venus and Jupiter are conjunct Sirius, which in astrology, particularly in evolutionary astrology, we look at today and tomorrow as a time of being able to connect into higher consciousness. Okay. So Sirius is, bright, and you can read all this in Pam's newsletter. Sirius is brighter than our sun. So it is in a different system and it is brighter than our sun. And it is considered, at least from an ancient astrology perspective, a reminder that there is more to this life and there's more consciousness to be deepened into. So, and this is why, okay, so without putting any pressure, no pressure on anyone. Okay, please do not take this as pressure. But this is a great day to be thinking about all the things that you really love and want to be a part of in your life right now. But here's what I will say to you: no pressure. Let them come. And you know what? If you can't think of a single thing, that's okay. Let your canvas be blank for a day. Seriously, all it usually means is you just need more rest. I mean, I don't mean to belittle it because it's a big deal. I have days when I can't think of a single thing I would want or and actually, I think we could all agree we'd like to have more peace in the world. So I think if we just start there, we could just, if you have nothing else, you could start with that. Um, Jupiter's in Cancer, Sirius is in Cancer, Venus is in Cancer. We could take a little hint from that and say that I wish that all people in the world be nourished, right? That they be nourished and fed on all levels of their beings. So if it's easier for you to start big, start big. Start with the global, start with the universal, start with something that really sparks your soul. But this is a great time to be saying, okay, how how can I be a part of that? 14, I believe, is the degree of Cancer, that Sirius and Jupiter and Venus. Now, currently, Venus and Jupiter at 13, so I think they're moving into position. So yeah, if you have anything at 14 degrees of Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, or Libra, or 14 degrees of Scorpio or Pisces, or pretty much any of the signs, you've got stuff going on. That's pretty cool. So again, just listen. And if you need to start global, start global. But listen to what is the wisdom that wants to move through you? How are you to be a part of this? And if there isn't an answer, please do not put any pressure on yourself. You will remember when it's time. And I think that's the key to this, is understanding that, especially during retrogrades, it's about remembering. Now, Mercury, happy days, has gone direct. If anybody needs to do a little jig right now, please do so. You're off camera, but Mercury has gone direct as of right now. So, yeah, there's a little jig happening. So, for those of you that are really affected by Mercury retrogrades, give it a few days. That's why I always say, it might be going direct on August 11th, but August 12th, is a really particularly powerful day, and just let it ease out. That being said, we still have the Neptune Saturn retrograde, the Pluto retrograde, and the Chiron retrograde. These are great planets. We love them. And again, like I said, they're giving us an opportunity to review and just kind of be like, okay, who am I right now? So in astrology, all the planets are working together. They work with your natal chart, but even if you didn't have a natal chart, which you do, but even if you didn't know what it was, you would feel the energy of this. So let's bring in Pluto, our great transformative planet. We're going to bring in Pluto, and let's bring in Uranus. I'm going to make Uranus the magician today with all that beautiful energy. They are in a interesting and powerful trine with each other, 120 degrees. And they've been dancing in this for a little bit of time now. And remember how I'm always talking about the unexpected or the big surprise? I know sometimes those aren't always happy. So I want to address that right now with Pluto's energy. And I love Pluto. Pluto does not have to be dark and scary. It can be very transformative, very alive, very healing. I do see and feel this very deeply, especially right now, that with Uranus and Pluto doing their dance, that if things are coming to the surface that are really challenging, and I can guarantee you that a lot of people are experiencing that right now, it is for healing purposes. Now, how that looks is as individual as anything, but there is so much right now of us needing to really see some things that are hard to see sometimes. And so they're popping up to the surface. How we work with them, Pluto's retrograde. So Pluto's slowing things down and letting it come to the surface and continuing to come to the surface. Uranus is still going forward. That energy is to unburden us ultimately. Okay. It doesn't feel that way a lot right now. Okay. I'm just going to be honest about that. But the idea with Uranus is to awaken, to free up, to open things up so that we see something differently in a way that we couldn't have seen it before. Like it's just brand new for us to see that. With people born in the 60s, all the way to like 70, but maybe 62 to 70. So that 8-year time frame. This is a really important time for us because we made, I think, okay, so now you have to, you don't have to agree with this, but this is what I'm thinking. Our souls said, okay, we're going to come onto Earth and we're going to do some good here and we're going to contribute. So a lot of us were born with Pluto and Uranus and Virgo. And here we are. Some of us were born with them 100% conjunct, and that person just had a birthday yesterday. So sometimes they're right next to each other, right on top of each other. Sometimes they're 5 or 6 or 10 degrees apart, but they're still considered together. It's like our soul said, look, we're going to come onto the planet and we're going to offer to do healing. And again, what does that mean? We're going to be open to how healing energy moves through us. We're going to be inventors of new things that might help other people, whether it's a system, a path, a thing, on a technology. We're going to be, we want to be aware of how healing happens. So how our consciousness connects with healing. Okay. So all of that during that time frame right now, for anyone born between those years, roughly, we're being asked to remember. No pressure, though, please. You can't, it's just like test anxiety, right? If you're trying to remember super, like, to remember, you're not going to remember. Remembering takes relaxing. Remembering takes just like opening up to how can I get this energy flowing? So, again, movement is a really key thing here. How am I, and you can ask yourself this question, how is it that I am remembering the gifts that I came with that I can help bring more healing energy to the planet? And again, healing takes many forms, all kinds, whether it's healing the heart, the soul, the mind, the body, the atmosphere, the environment, whatever it is, healing takes so many forms. Okay. So try to be as open as you can. Uranus is outside the box, things you wouldn't have thought of before now. And believe me, this is a great time for us because it's sort of a checkpoint. And if you're close to my age, I mean, I've already had so many friends my age pass into the other realms at this point. So I feel like how lucky I am to be here, to be able to listen. And I don't always have big spectacular answers. Sometimes the listening says, oh, right, I need to go down and do this task. I need to go downstairs. I need to go upstairs. I need to go downtown. I need to do something. The movement will cue up what wants to come next. So please, if something comes that just feels super mundane, That's okay. Do it. Do it. For some of you, a lot of you have horses. If you need to muck a stall, I can't think of a better activity for freeing the mind to get new ideas. Seriously, I cannot think of a better activity. Not that I do it, but um, I'm imagining that it's a great activity for that. Yes, the mucking meditation. Exactly. I think it's a real thing. So for those of us that don't have that, there we could wash dishes, um, dust, uh, rake leaves, and there's just like a million things that you could do that you do kind of like, okay, I'm just going to do this. For some people, being in the shower can open up those pathways. I love it. Driving, although you do need to focus on driving. And I think probably mucking is the best. Yeah. Although mucking things in other ways happens, but generally that's, a whole other thing that gets generated. So yeah, so remembering how to approach as things lift, right? As things come to the surface. I guess my biggest job today is just to remind you that we are here. All of us are here right now. So if you were born in the 60s, great, fabulous, extra bonus points for being here and listening. And any of us are here to awaken to these transformative energies that are moving in the realms, in the sky right now. Yeah. So, and cleaning things up, right? Pluto is all about getting things up to the surface and cleaning things up. It's just fabulous that way. Lucky us, right? Okay. Um, all right. So we talked about Jupiter, we talked about Venus, Sirius. Mercury is now going direct. And all right, now Pluto, Uranus. Now I'm going to add Pluto and Uranus. Okay, so we know they're in a trine. Okay. They're happily working together to help us awaken and create something that we need, whether it's something we need that we can share with others or something that we need just for ourselves, but we're awakening to new ways of doing this. Okay. Now, literally right in between them, right in the middle, literally right in the middle is Neptune Saturn. Okay. So you ask, why is it so intense? Well, it's so intense because these super huge planets that bring a ton of energy and they require us to listen. I mean, I guess you could go through life not listening, but if you're here, you're sensitive and you're thinking, I'm listening in, whether I want to or not, it's happening. Saturn, Neptune, their dance. Pluto, Uranus, their dance. They're all dancing with each other. It's like a big pinball machine, okay? And the pinball is just going back and forth and it's like, it's dinging everything. That's a lot of energy. So, hence the rest. This is where we come from. But again, also, what an incredible opportunity and time for us to learn, get ideas, and walk that tightrope. I mean, this card could not be more right on. With everything going on, if you're okay, and I'll just be honest, if you are someone who's looking to launch something of some kind, there's lots of reasons to maybe not do it exactly right now. But don't be afraid to launch, just be really grounded in your approach. And maybe, again, consult someone who actually does that work and says, this is a great time to launch. And if it's a business thing, I know someone who can help you out with that. And it's not me necessarily, by the way, but I do have lots of people who are really good at knowing things that I don't know. That's why I have a big referral network. So the energies are here, and a lot of times we want to jump on them. We really do. We are like, oh my gosh, it's time, it's time, it's time. It may not be quite time yet. Okay. And it's okay if you are wanting to do it now. I'm not going to stop you, but it's also equally okay if you're like, yeah, I just don't feel it right now. I don't know why. And I hear this a lot. I don't know why. I don't feel it. Everybody's chart is being affected by this bigger energy. So here's what I think more than anything, increasing our capacity for energy. What does that look like? What does it mean to increase our bodies, minds, hearts, and souls to have more energy flowing through? It really does. So if we just start with the body, know what's ideal for you. What do you need in your body to feel good? A lot of us know what doesn't make us feel good. But what makes us, what helps us, what supports us? I would just say, in a very, the most basic of levels, that because we are mostly water, hydration, I can't seem to get enough of that lately. And we need that. Like that is the brain functions better when we're hydrated. Okay. Everything functions, our internal organs, everything functions better. And hydration, I mean, I'm not here as a medical person or in any way, shape, or form able to share much more than that with you, but there are better ways to hydrate than others. So I'll just say that. Okay. Just better ways to hydrate than others. Okay. So on a spiritual level, how do we increase our capacity? So many of you are familiar with heart math or heart-based modalities, meditations. I think that spiritually, doing something that really increases your ability to open your heart to gratitude and appreciation, that's super helpful. Now, for me, when I'm offering meditations for my clients, we start lower in the body, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is to connect deeper and stronger so you can increase the capacity for love, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. When you start deeper in the body and in the spirit, there's a lot of letting go that has to happen. This is the part of it. This is why this is very Plutonian. Pluto is under the earth. Pluto is the deeper part of the body, if you will. And so getting in there and opening that up. So for those of you that know Qigong, for instance, you're working with the lower Dantian, right? So you're working with that lower part of the body. There's a reason why we start there, right? Because you've got to open like a trunk of a tree. It's got to be strong in order to hold everything else up. So appreciation and gratitude here, stability, strength, thanking the ancestors, moving down into the earth, lower in the body, opening it up, and breathing. There's a concept. Breathing. That's why I have us breathe into our bellies, right? We breathe into our bellies so that we can create more space, more capacity. So for your mind, creating more capacity for your mind. I mean, I think we know some experts on this that we should probably have on Cosmic Compass. Actually, it's a really good idea. We'll do that. But again, how can you keep your mind, your brain, all of this flowing? What are the activities that will keep you awake, alive, refreshed? There's a shadow side to Neptune that we should talk about, especially when it comes to the mind and the heart, the emotions, and the spirit. Neptune's shadow is numbing out. Neptune's like, I don't want to think about anything right now. I'm gonna numb right out, numb out. There's nothing wrong with checking out for a little bit sometimes, which is why I always suggest the naps. There are other ways to numb out, and that's okay. There's no judgment here. I just want us to remember that it's really important. If you're aware that you need to do that, then you're on overdrive already. Like that's fine. And do something to help reconnect so that you feel alive. The desire to numb out isn't helping us necessarily be in our most alive place. And as Saturn and Neptune come back, to that 0 point of Aries next year in February, aliveness is really, I mean, aliveness is what we're learning about right now. What brings that into my being? And I will say for myself, some days I am just tired. I am tired. And so my aliveness, I have to find a different way so that I don't want to numb out completely. So that's when I go for a walk in nature or find an animal to talk to or journal. Actually, even if it's only for 5 minutes, it shifts the energy. Right. But again, using all of these pieces and for those of you that use meditation, right? And some of you are really dedicated meditators. And that meditation is meant to shift the energy so you don't have to numb out, right? It's a great, great option. A great option. Okay. I'm just gonna double check. Okay. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And I love that some of you are talking about the movement, and I love the water fountain idea, actually. Fountains can be really supportive. One thing right now that I think is really important to make note of is nobody other than the south node. Nobody is in an earth sign right now. I think I got that right. Okay, South Node is in Virgo, but other than that, there's no one else hanging out in an earth sign. So, grounding. So, flowing with the water is good, and then grounding, literally your feet on the ground. Simple, straightforward, and easy. Some of you have grounding mats. I would love to try one of those. I think some people sleep with grounding. Like there's things that even sheets I think you can get. I don't know. There's a lot out there about grounding. What I do know is that going out and putting your feet on the ground can really help. So that part I do know. I also heard for those of you that live in urban environments, like I do, that unsealed sidewalks will work, as well as, I learned this the other day, saline pool are grounding, if you can believe it. Saline pools because of the salt water. I would never have known that if someone hadn't told me that. So that was really good information. So grounding. The groundedness will help with all of this energy. And we're going to need to work at it because the South Node in Virgo is supportive, but I think we just have to take it on ourselves right now. All right, I'm looking to see what's in the chat here. Yes, 3 cheers for movement, sunshine. Oh, sunshine on your abdomen. Love it. That's a good one. Love, love, love. And creativity. Okay, yes, thank you for bringing in creativity. We are still in Leo, and we've got Mercury direct now in Leo, headed back toward the sun. So we'll have, I don't, not sure. Let's see, 4:15. I think by the time Mercury gets to the sun, we'll be in Virgo, but that idea of both of them there in Leo is really helpful. And the Pisces energy that we have, and again, we have North Node in Pisces. Today we happen to have the moon in Pisces. Super helpful for both visioning, but also for creativity. And then Neptune and Saturn. So coming back to some of the things we've talked about before, how do I make my dreams real? How is it that I'm making my dreams real? How is it my dreams are becoming real? How is it I'm living my dream? How is it? How is it? I mean, these are the questions. And so as the planets come back around to creativity, to life force, to aliveness, good reminder. There's just so much energy all at once. And I will tell you that based on my research and based on many years of experience, I can honestly tell you we have not had this in my lifetime in this way. I can honestly say that. This is unique, hasn't happened. Some of what's happening right now hasn't happened in thousands of years. This is a unique time. And all of you here are very tuned in and you understand that we are up against a lot because this energy is available for everyone and not everyone is using it well. Okay. Not everyone is, in fact, quite a number of people not using this energy in the way I would hope. So, how can we stay in a world that has so much stress? How can we stay tuned in? How can we stay in our aliveness? And you know what? One of the ways to do that, and here's a really good way to, instead of it being a numbing out, but an unplugging, right? I have been off my computer more in the last couple of weeks just for a day. And I'm telling you, I mean, I love being able to do this. Like, this is my passion, and I'm deeply aware of how lucky I am to get to work like this. But having one day away is super nourishing. Little mini retreats, although a big one would be good too, but times in nature, going out with friends, being in a place where you can just replenish. Use the energy for the highest and best, right? Bring grace into this time. Bring your grace and ease into this time. And yes, there's a Mars thing going on. Yes, not ignoring Mars, hearing Mars energy going, excuse me, I'm right across from Saturn and Neptune. You forgot me. Sorry. Good point, Mars. Little conflict there. Mars energy can be passion. Mars energy can be anger. It can be rage. It can be creativity. It can be life force. It can be our way to tune into aliveness. Okay? Mars, sorry, Mars, like, that's how it works. Mars is like, I'm going to get your attention. And so, what needs our attention? Right? What needs my attention? Mars is in Libra right now. And so Mars in Libra tends to upset the equilibrium. So if you find yourself in a situation where the equilibrium, and I'm in a couple situations like things I have had to say or feel like I need to share, there is received with as much love as possible, but they're not easy for me to share, right? And yeah, as a Libra rising, it is a bit of a challenge to have Mars sitting right on top of my rising sign right now because I have a lot I want to share and I'm trying, maybe too hard, to find the best way to say it. Sometimes it just has to come out. And then we take a page out of the Aries book, which is clean it up afterwards. Okay. So there's lots going on here. Tons going on. So why is it so intense? Because all these planets are at the early degrees of signs, and this has not happened in this way. So again, our job as human beings is to take care of ourselves in every way possible so we can be the highest and best versions of ourselves that we can in this moment, increase our capacity for that healing energy to flow through, and listen. And when we have an idea, write it down. Remember it, write it down, feel into it, and continue to collect those ideas. Continue to be in the energy of that. So that when it's time to do the magic, you're ready. Okay. And while we're doing that, we're moving from one to another. We're moving from the past through the present to the future, right? So again, you'll notice that symbol. Let's see if I can. That figure 8 symbol showing up there at the bottom. I'm really wrecking the camera's not very happy with me. Figure 8 symbol, right? Super important. And really, if all you do during the day, just take your hands and do this, it really feels good. Trust me. Just you could try it. It moves energy and it feels good. And then, in not this year, but in the last year, 2024, which was an 8 year, we did a lot. Remember, we did a lot of the moving with the arms and bringing ourselves into balance. We could keep doing that. That would be helpful, right? I think we did this and all kinds of things. So flowing, movement, super important. Gathering as community, super important. All right. Aw, okay. Super important to keep listening. All right. I think I got everything out of the chat that wanted to be shared or questions. Um, I'm so happy you're all here, and thank you so much for being here and being part of this. It makes a huge difference to have us gather. That's part of this right now, this energy, right?